Hi, Laura. I've been lucky enough to actually step into Greenwich House while one of these programs are going on. One of your creative aging programs are going on. And it was really a terrific program that I witnessed. I had seen a digital photography program, and the spirit around it, not only was the work really good, but the spirit around it was so terrific. It was so energizing. And I just wondered how, as a program director at Greenwich House, you're able to create an atmosphere at the center where the arts are really valued as much as they are.
Many of our seniors are former artists, or they're current artists, or they're just really interested in culture and art. So when we're able to bring an opportunity to our seniors, they really appreciate it, and they really value any program that we bring. The photography class that you had seen that time, we had actually, through a grant through Lifetime Arts, brought that to three of our Greenwich House senior centers, and it was widely successful. And seniors that had not even picked up a digital camera before, took that class and used that as a platform to really experience something that they've never experienced before. And it was a really special program.
I know it can be a challenge to bring in programs. How does the center wind up securing funding for these kinds of programs?
So the way we really secure funding is by just researching and looking and putting our name out there. And we could talk a little bit more about it later, but getting our seniors to commit to the arts and to help us identify programming and funding. And here, an example is Lifetime Arts. Lifetime Arts was a wonderful bridge that we made, and that connection that we made that opened up a lot of doors for us because it got our name out there. And from there, we got several other funding opportunities. Sukasa is one of our great funding opportunities that we've had every year since, I think, 2015. And we also look for private funding. We look for artists that took our class that were intrigued by the class, and they might want to make a donation or have somebody make a donation for a specific 6 or 10 week class.
How do you engage the leadership and the executive administration in supporting the arts? Like, what kind of sales job do you have to do, or is it an easy sell?
Yeah, it's a very easy sell. We're very lucky with the Greenwich House. It's a wonderful organization, and they really support the arts. You know, the Settlement House itself does have a pottery school, a music school, and the real focus is on the arts. So when we want to bring more arts programs to our senior centers, they really encourage it. They assist us with the grant writing, they assist us with fundraising, and anything that we bring to our administration, they support it wholeheartedly.
And as you mentioned, the older adults who participate in this, like you said, some of them are artists and some of them are just arts enthusiasts. But I know you have a number of student-driven projects involved at Greenwich House. Can you talk a little bit about those student-driven projects?
So yeah, we have an advisory council that's made up of about 10 older adults in our senior center, and each older adult has a different committee that they're responsible for. And we've seen in the last few years that the arts department is a very important part of our senior center, as important as the food committee would be, or as a trip committee could be. So I would say in probably the last year, what we did is we created an arts committee for the advisory council, and that arts committee is set up of a subcommittee of about 8 seniors, and they decide which type of programming they would want to bring to the senior center, in addition to any outside funding or Department for the Aging funding that we have to use for arts. So most recently, I can't think of time right now because I'm a little off the last few months,
I
but
think they are,
the
yeah.
last program project we had was we set up an art show. So any artists that would like to put their art in our art show were welcome to submit it to the art committee, and they would pretty much hang it for them. And we would have about 10 artists every quarter. And we hung their artwork. We had a gala event, and it was a really, really nice program. And the program was managed entirely by volunteers. The committee members sat on the committee, and they chose the art. Although everybody's art was chosen, there was nobody that was left out. Anybody that submitted something within the time frame. And I even had a curator, a volunteer husband and wife curator. They hung the show. We had an opening date, we had a closing date, and it's been great. So that's how I've been getting them involved recently, because there's a big demand for art right now in our senior center. And if we could have the older adults as involved as possible, we feel that it would be beneficial to all of us, beneficial to them and beneficial to us. And it would just be great to have this programming.
Sure, because you're not just sort of assuming what they want. You're actually taking your cue from your members, because
Yes.
they're coming to you and saying, this is what's meaningful to us, and you're responding to that. And also, allowing them to sort of take the lead and seeing how a lot of this stuff gets done, like with this art show.
Yes. So the art show was set up. We had about 4 art shows in the year, probably in 2019. And then we were moving to another medium. We have established comedy class we have a local comedian. Her name is Jo Firestone, and she is bringing her comedy class to the senior center. And that was the next step that our art committee was working on, is having a comedy show in the next semester. So arts is definitely a strong suit in our senior center. And like you said, Ed, it's very important to get them involved, because it's what they want to do. And it helps us, and it helps them, and it keeps them busy.